Hello and welcome. My name is Amy. I am so excited you are here. On this channel, we talk all things energy work, spiritual tools, connecting with your spirit guides, connecting with your higher self, crystals, Reiki, all that kind of stuff. So if you're into it and you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like or have something to share about this video, I would love if you hit the like button, and really do if you left a comment. One of my favorite things really is reading your comments and interacting back with you, knowing that there are people on the other side of my camera here. So that would be fabulous if you so feel called. So today we are talking about the emotion wheel and how to use a pendulum to clear emotions from our body, which is super, super cool. If you have done any work with the emotion code where you use a magnet to remove emotions from your body, that is also super cool. I did learn about the emotion code before I used to do this, and then once I figured out I can use my pendulum to clear things, I just liked that so much better. So if you, at the end of this video, like the idea of clearing emotions, but you don't love the idea of using a pendulum, you might want to check out the emotion code because that uses a magnet. So what you need is some sort of emotion wheel. I will try to put this in the description below. I printed this out a long time ago. I just typed into Google like emotion wheel. I really like this one because it's pretty and it has a ton of emotions on it, and it is basically a pendulum chart when you lay it flat. So the way we're going to do this, so I'm just going to walk you through how I would actually do it, and then we will do one and we'll actually remove and clear out an emotion from you also. So I'm going to be asking that whatever my pendulum, my higher self, draws us to, that it's an emotion that's a collective emotion for whoever is coming to this video. If you were drawn here, the emotion that we're going to clear is also going to be for you to clear. So they'll all work together. Spirit is crazy awesome in that way. Doesn't have to make sense. Okay, so first things first. When I use my pendulum, I like to connect with my higher self. That's who I am connecting to. That's who's doing the energy work. If you like to connect with something else, go for it. But I suggest doing the higher self because it is you. It's just kind of a higher vantage point of you. So I'm just going to walk through exactly what I would do, and then I'm going to show you. So what I would do is I would put my feet on the ground. If I'm sitting in a chair like this, I would ask just that grounding energy be brought up to me so that I'm grounded, I'm stable. Take a few deep breaths. Wiggle out any energy that wants to go. And now I'm going to say something like, okay, and now I'm going to be transparent. I don't say this every time now because when I use my pendulum, I'm always connecting with my higher self. If I'm not connecting with my higher self, then I'm going to say who I'm connecting with, but it's more rare for me to connect with something else. So, but when I was first doing this, I would be like, okay, I am setting the intention that I'm connecting with my higher self through the use of my pendulum, asking for the highest truth, the highest wisdom, and the most clarity, the most healing. I ask for this or more. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would say something like that. Those words are not memorized. It's the intention. So feel free to use them, but feel free to make up your own. I've connected with my pendulum. I am now going to use this like a pendulum board. So I'm going to bring you down here a little bit, and I'm hoping we can get a good enough view. Okay, that's not bad. Which way? Okay, and then I'm going to hold my pendulum right over the center, like it was a pendulum board, and I'm going to ask, okay, which emotion is most in alignment to release right now? Which emotion is most in alignment to release right now? And then I'm just going to wait until I have a guess which way it's going. Now, sometimes people can get a little, it's a little tricky when you have things on both sides. You can see it's swinging both ways. It's swinging like towards the pink, but also towards the yellow. But for me, I feel like it's pulling towards the pink. So you could check both sides, but I feel like it's pulling towards either that depressed kind of area. So I know it's kind of going around here. I can't tell exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pendulum to the side, and I'm just going to put my finger on depressed, and I'm going to say, is this the emotion? And I get a no. Then I'm going to say, okay, was it ashamed? This is the one I was thinking it was. Okay, ashamed. So, and the way that the pendulum wheel works, which is kind of neat, the opposite side is like the opposite emotion, which is kind of interesting. So it's kind of like we're getting rid of ashamed and we're maybe replacing it over here, something with that. Okay. So we have ashamed. So the next question that I'm going to ask, just to make sure, and this is kind of taking it to the next level. So if you don't want to do this, obviously you don't have to. But I'm going to ask, is there anything I need to know before I release this emotion? I usually get no. I'm getting a no right now. But sometimes I do get yes. So if you were, I feel weird when I'm talking not to you. If you were to get there's something else for you to know before you release that emotion, it could be there's an action step you need to do. So that might be my next, you're so crooked. That might be my next thing. Okay, is there an action step for me to do? Is there a difficult conversation for me to have? Is there more information I need to search? Like, where is this ashamed coming from? Where is it in my body? I'll check where is it in my body when we're doing it, but just is there more for me to know about it? Is this from this lifetime? Is this from past lifetimes? Is this something I inherited from my mom's ancestral line? So sometimes there are emotions that it's helpful and it's aligned to know more about. Maybe you need to pull cards about it or just do some meditation, some journaling. But a lot of times, especially when you first start removing emotions, there's going to be a lot of stuck emotions that you don't need to know more about. I probably should have said why. Why are we even doing this, Amy? Oh, goodness. Okay, why are we doing this? So basically, the way I see it, again, this is my perspective, you can have your own, but the way I see it is emotions can get trapped in our bodies and they kind of get stuck. And our bodies do not like having stuck emotions. It can cause a wide range of things, just from like uncomfortableness, anxiety type feelings, to pain, or to even a lot of people will say that it can manifest into sickness and disease by having stuck emotions. So this is a really good practice. I don't do this consistently anymore. When I first did this, I had many stuck emotions to release that I didn't have to know anything about for a very long time. And then I started getting into ones that I did have to know about. The Emotion Code, that book that uses the magnets, talks a little bit about how we have a heart wall or multiple heart walls, which is like we've built up protection around our heart. And by releasing these emotions, we can release that wall that we've built up. So a lot, what I find, we'll go through it when we get there, but I find a lot of our stuck emotions generally are in the heart area, the heart center. Of course, they can be everywhere else, also anywhere. But it can be really helpful to release these. It can help you feel lighter, more aligned, more in the flow, more easier to receive guidance or kind of connect in with your guidance. All of those things. That's why we're doing it, in case you were wondering. Okay, so let's actually go back down here and release it. Okay, so I asked, is there any more information I need to know before I release it? And I got a no. So that means I can just go right ahead and start releasing it. When I clear with my pendulum, it does a counterclockwise motion. So I am going to, do we want to feel into where it is? Okay, let's take just one moment because I'm going to be doing this for you to see how to do it, but also we're going to be removing the emotion of ashamed from me and from you. So if you want to take a deep breath, maybe put your hand over your heart. I had to really try to get a deep breath there. And maybe just check in with your body. like, body, where is ashamed? Where is this stuck emotion stuck? Or where is this emotion stuck in my body? And maybe there's a part of your body you feel like it kind of lights up. If you are visual, you can ask for it to light up. So body, light up where ashamed is in my body right now. For me, that doesn't work, but for some of you, it might. For me, I generally have to feel, it's almost like either part of my body, I'll feel a little like ting or twinge of pain in this spot when I ask that, or it kind of pops into my head. And if none of those things happen, I just assume I don't have to know, because we don't always have to know. Sometimes it can just be interesting when it's like, oh yeah, my hip has been feeling weird. And then you get that like this emotion or a bunch of emotions have been sitting in your hip. So that can just be helpful. It's definitely sitting in some of your hips. Just FYI. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if it's in my hip. I think it is in my hip. That's probably why I said that. Okay. So anyway, I'm super curious, by the way, in the comments after, did you get where you think it is? And if you are if you're second guessing yourself, just go with that answer. Just pretend that you're right, and you are right. That's all you have to do. Okay. Here we go. So I'm just going to say, okay, I'm ready to release. I'm ready to clear this ashamed emotion from my body. Now, because I've done this many times, it's like my higher self, my body knows what to do. So if your pendulum doesn't immediately start moving, definitely comment below. I can try to help you with that. But what it's doing, it's going in a counterclockwise motion. We're releasing ashamed. It might be nice if you want to put your hand over where you're releasing it from, if you have a guess. If you don't, just put it over your heart. Just taking a nice few deep breaths. While I release this, I usually will take nice deep breaths and get really into the emotion of gratitude, really feeling grateful that I'm able to release this emotion, feeling grateful that this emotion is ready for me not to hold it anymore, feeling really grateful for the lightness it's going to bring my body. If you know Reiki, you could send Reiki, or even if you don't know Reiki, you can send energy work towards where it is. That's basically what you're doing just by putting your hand over it anyways. And then I will just sit there until you can tell I can tell it's starting to finish. It's going a little slower. Once it finishes, I take one more nice deep breath. And then I might check in, okay, is that emotion fully released? I get a yes. Sometimes certain emotions have to be released many times, just FYI. So just because you released it once does not mean it's fully gone. It may be fully gone, but it also may not be. So for the sake of this video, I think my higher self just wanted to cut it short. But that could be something I might need to go back with ashamed and do it multiple times. After a certain number of layers come off, it's possible that you might then need more information. Like, now that we've kind of lightened the load a little bit, now maybe we can do a little more digging, like, where did this come from? If we're meant to. Sometimes we're really not meant to get into the human, like, curiosity of it. A lot of times that's fun. But for stuff like this, if you can just get rid of it, just get rid of it. I personally wouldn't waste time trying to figure things out and like put story to it unless we're meant to. If it's not aligned to put story and figure things out, clear it, release it, and just be done. And just feel lighter and be grateful that we got to get rid of that. Okay, so if I were doing this like a little session for myself or someone else, I might say, okay, well, we checked, ashamed's gone. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that again, at least for the sake of this video. It doesn't necessarily mean ashamed is gone from everyone forever. But for the sake of this video, they just wanted us to do that one layer. Then I might ask, okay, is it in alignment to release another emotion? I'm getting a no. It did feel like that ashamed one was very big. So what happens sometimes, our bodies, you don't want to push them too far. There is such a thing as too much of this kind of energy work stuff. So maybe that ashamed was so big that now we need to go let our body recalibrate. And what that means is just going about your everyday life, maybe drinking a little extra water, maybe trying to get outside a little more than you would have, maybe a little more rest, maybe a little more nutritious foods. Sometimes you'll be able to release like 10 emotions in a session and be like, and your body's like, okay, this is good. But if you push it past what is in alignment for you, it's gonna have you feeling a lot of those symptoms that I feel like people will say, like when they're going through spiritual growth type symptoms, or some people say like when you're going through your Reiki master, just a lot of physical symptoms of kind of like detox, because that's kind of what's happening. Your body's kind of detoxing emotions and having to find a new calibration. So my whole point is here, don't push it too far. Check in. If you're going to do this for yourself, check in. Okay, is it in alignment for me to keep going, or is this a good place to stop? And then you could always check in later that day or the next day. Is it in alignment for me to release more emotions? When I first did this, I was getting a yes to release like 10 emotions a day for multiple days in a row. Now this doesn't mean this is going to be your story. That's just how it was for me. It was like 10 emotions for like, I would say probably 10 days. And then it started really pulling back to maybe it was just like one emotion or no emotions. And there was a big period, I think, of just recalibration and integration. So know that, who knows? You don't know until you figure it out. That's why it's so helpful to know how to get your intuitive yes and no from your pendulum. Very, very helpful. We are going to have a big bonus masterclasses in our Spirit Guide University about that. If you are not on the wait list for the membership, maybe I'll put that below. I'm going to put the wait list below as well. So once I finish that, let's see, how would I wrap up? I think I would just, hands over my heart, say some form of gratitude, thankful for this moment, thankful that I was able to release this emotion, thankful to my higher self. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's how I would probably close it out, something very short and sweet like that. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know if you try it. Let me know if you already do something like this. And I will be checking in to see your comments. Thank you. Bye.